This is your boy Luis, and as always, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Super Build project. Today I got to do a couple of things. I'm gonna be installing my oil pressure sensor, and I am gonna be removing my OEM one, which is just hold on by a pretty much like a 14mm socket. But let's go ahead and get started. As you guys can see, that's the OEM oil pressure sensor right there. It's brand new too, but I figured I might as well just do everything digital, and so I could connect and talk to the ECU just better, you know what I mean? Plus these are more reliable and they go higher. I believe the OEM one just goes up to like 75 pounds. This one is 150 pound oil pressure sensor. I know it's kind of crazy, might be a lot, but you never know. You always need good oil pressure with these 7M. So let's go ahead and change this thing or install this thing. So it's basically just a 14. I already got it a little loose, so I know I haven't talked to you guys in a minute, but you know, I've been trying to upgrade some things on my house, and to be honest, with the whole COVID situation, things slowing down, sometimes it gets hard to you know, prioritize your finances. So that's always, I gotta get my priorities straight, you know. The Supra, yes, I gotta finish it ASAP, but there's some things I like to upgrade on the house. So there we have it. This is the OEM oil pressure sensor, and as you guys can see, I had to get an adapter for it. I forget the exact fitting on this, but if you guys want to know, I'm gonna be linking it down below. But I do have to get a fitting for that because this is different. Excuse me, but I believe I already have the wired it in, but it's a matter of just screwing it on after that. It's kind of hard doing this one-hander. Let me put the phone, guys. Let me put the phone down. All right, guys, there you have it. There's my oil pressure tightened pretty good. Not crazy, because the last thing you want is to crack that thing. But as you guys can see, I already had my oil pressure pigtail pretty much wired up. So the next thing would just be pretty much to just connect it, and so you guys can see, bam, connected. That's how it would be. One thing that I want to do today is kind of get all my grounds situated, and all my chassis grounds put on the chassis to a pigtail. One thing that I forgot to mention, guys, that I messed up on last time was, if you guys can see here, my cam trigger sensor, this is fully wired in to the sensor. So if anything ever goes wrong, in order for me to change or put a new sensor, there's no way for me to disconnect the sensor from the actual harness. And the same thing goes for my crank trigger sensor. If anything ever goes wrong with my trigger, with my trigger sensor for the crank, it's fully wired into the actual harness. So there's no way for me to just quick disconnect or anything like that. So as always, the guys at Pro Wire USA, they always have everything that you would ever need for all your wiring needs. So since these are three wired sensors, obviously signal, ground, and trigger or something like that, I believe what it is, I went ahead and I bought plugs that I could wire in so I could have quick disconnect. So for example, like this, I could have these connected like that. I did them the wrong way, but you guys get the idea. Here, I'll do it the right way. So they would be like this, and they'll just click in place. So if the sensor ever goes wrong, or it just faulty for whatever reason, I could just quick disconnect these, and I could just buy a new sensor, and vice versa, either one. So this is something that I need to add, and I forgot to add, and I didn't think about till the second time around. Another thing that I also forgot, and it was brought to my attention by one of my buddies. I consider him my buddy. I hope he's my buddy. You know, Cody told me that I needed to add specific grounds to my insulated wires for my knock sensor, and for both my knock sensors and both of these triggers. Let me explain that more into detail. So, for example, we got the insulated wire here. As you guys can see, on the outside of the wire, there's a metal mesh that kind of is wrapped all around the wires, all throughout the harness. So basically, the metal mesh that's on the outside of these, that's the part that is grounded. So I'm gonna basically take these out again here on the ECU side, and I'm gonna ground the metal mesh that's surrounding the wires, and I'm gonna ground them by connecting them to this, and then this side is gonna be grounded to the actual chassis somewhere. So that is a proper way of actually grounding the insulated wires for my triggers and my knock sensors. You guys will see more in depth when I actually do this, but it was something that was brought to my attention, and I kind of wanted to show you guys. Alright guys, so today we're gonna basically try to attempt to finish some of the harness, or what's left of it at least. So we got here the 6 injector plugs. So we got the leads that are going to the actual ECU, and then basically the second ones are the grounds that are going to be connected to the chassis. So I'm gonna go ahead and solder and make these look nice. Go ahead and cut them up and make them look nice, and then after that I'm gonna add leads for the grounds that are going to the actual chassis for them to be grounded. All right, so I got the solder gun heating up here. I got that going, and let's attempt to finish this. Quick note guys, if you guys are doing any soldering, Harbor Freight has these little arms for like $7, and it helps you a lot. They're really handy because especially just having 2 hands, you can have this thing hold it for you in place. Get the soldering gun on one hand and the solder in another, and so I highly recommend them. And there you have it. I got the signals all soldered. You take your time, they'll look nice and clean and seamless. So now I gotta work on the ground side. So let's get those done. Alright guys, so I pretty much went to Ace and picked up a couple of these. They're pretty much ring terminals, and this one's 4 gauge, just enough so I could fit all my grounds in here. If you think about it, it's gonna be 6 coils and then 6 injectors, and then those all gotta be able to fit in this terminal right here. So then right here, I'm gonna connect that one to here like this, connect it like that, and make it look pretty. So all my coils and all my injectors are going to be grounded to the chassis. Let it get warm a little bit, not too hot. You don't ever want to breathe this stuff in. I hold my breath, especially if I'm directly over it. Bad news. Long term, I'm assuming. But as you guys can see, these little arms do magic. So right here, I just have my heat shrink, slide it over. Bam. Get a little lighter and just clean it up. And just like that, you got a clean wire. Alright guys, so this right here is literally all I have left for my ground wiring. Well, the black wire for all my grounds off of the 100-foot roll that I bought. So I know all this looks like a mess right now, but basically all my injectors are done. So now I just gotta lead the other end and then put them on that terminal right there. And I'm not gonna go ahead and crimp them down yet because I am gonna run my injector ground, my coil grounds to that same terminal. So what I gotta do is actually order, you know, another 50 feet or so I could put my ground coils to that. But just to give you guys an idea of how everything's gonna look, I'm gonna run it right now and so you guys have an idea. All right guys, right here you guys can get an idea of what they're gonna look like. So this is injector 1. So they're gonna be going from that, all messed up, to this, looking nice and pretty. So let's try to tackle the rest. And there you have it guys, this is the final product. Got injectors 1 through 6. Buster saying what's up. But there you have it. Everything's looking pretty. It's looking nice and professional. Well, as professional as it's gonna look, you know what I mean? But yeah guys, so after that, basically one of the last things is to do my coils. And remember, the coils are need a 12-volt supply, so there's a separate process that's going to be done to these. And then these, for my injectors, basically all the grounds, they're coming out right here at the end. So basically, for example, the mesh stops right here on this one, and the ground is right here. So all of these grounds are basically going to go up in here. Nothing crazy. And as you guys can see, this one was stopped here because from here on back into the ECU, it's going to be a separate mesh loom that's going to be covering everything. So these are all individually wrapped. But yeah, just whew, one step closer guys. I could tell you what, I started at around, I want to say 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and I've been at it for about, I want to say 4.5 hours, 5 hours. Wiring just takes a very long time, and for those of you that have done it, you guys know the struggle. But as you guys can see, all the plugs are starting to come along, and my coils are a couple of last things to do. I still got to do my Bosch 4.9 sensor, 4.2, 4.9, 4.2, one of those, but I got the loom for that. That's all in there, but that's pretty much it for this video, guys. As always, guys, I thank you so much for following along, for subscribing, for hitting that thumbs up, and for commenting on the videos. It helps the channel a lot, tremendously. And honestly, sometimes I lose motivation in the build myself. I am not perfect, but the fact that a lot of you guys comment on the videos, a lot of you guys hit me up on Instagram and say, hey man, when's the next video? Hey man, start uploading, bro. So that's motivation in itself to kind of get me going. And we're literally on the last few things to kind of get this car going. But like I said, just those things took about 5 hours. So it takes time. I still got the fuel tank down there, in which I still got to sort out with the hanger. But enough talking, guys. Thank you so much. Any comments, suggestions, or feedback, please comment down below. Feel free to share, and if you guys are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel and following along so we can kind of get this beast going. It's almost there, guys. On to the next one. Peace.